Section 1 of Selected Interviews with Robert G. Ingersoll, Volume 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Prologue and Interviewer's Questions read by Michele Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ingersoll's Responses read by Ted DeLorme. Interview title, Orators and Oratory. Published in The Sketch, London, England, March 21, 1894. Prologue. It was at his own law office in New York City that I had my talk with that very notable American, Colonel Robert G. Ingersoll. Bob Ingersoll, Americans call him affectionately. In a company of friends, it is the Colonel. A more interesting personality it would be hard to find, and those who know even a little of him will tell you that a bigger-hearted man probably does not live. Suppose a well-knit frame, grown stouter than it once was, and a fine, strong face, with a vivid gleam in the eyes, a deep, uncommonly musical voice, clear-cut, decisive, and a manner entirely delightful, yet tinged with a certain reserve. Introduce a smoking cigar, the smoke rising in little curls and billows, then imagine a rugged sort of picturesqueness in dress, and you get, not by any means the man, but still some notion of Bob Ingersoll. Colonel Ingersoll stands at the front of American orators. The natural thing, therefore, was that I should ask him, a master in the art, about oratory. What he said I shall give in his own words precisely as I took them down from his lips, for in the case of such a good commander of the old English tongue, that is of some importance. But the wonderful limpidness, the charming pellucidness of Ingersoll can only be adequately understood when you also have the finishing touch of his facile voice. First question. I should be glad if you would tell me what you think the differences are between English and American oratory.
There is no difference between the real English and the real American orator. Oratory is the same the world over. The man who thinks on his feet, who has the pose of passion, the face that thought illumines, a voice in harmony with the ideals expressed, who has logic like a column and poetry like a vine, who transfigures the common, dresses the ideals of the people in purple and fine linen, who has the art of finding the best and noblest in his hearers, and who in 1,000 ways creates the climate in which the best grows and flourishes and bursts into blossom. That man is an orator, no matter of what time, of what country.
If you were to compare individual English and American orators, recent or living orators in particular, what would you say?
I have never heard any of the great English speakers, and consequently can pass no judgment as to their merits, except such as depends on reading. I think, however, the finest paragraph ever uttered in Great Britain was by Curran in his defense of Rowan. I have never read one of Mr. Gladstone's speeches, only fragments. I think he lacks logic. Bright was a great speaker, but he lacked imagination and the creative faculty. Disraeli spoke for the clubs, and his speeches were artificial. We have had several fine speakers in America. I think that Thomas Corwin stands at the top of the natural orators. Sergeant S. Prentice, the lawyer, was a very great talker. Henry Ward Beecher was the greatest orator that the pulpit has produced. Theodore Parker was a great orator. In this country, however, probably Daniel Webster occupies the highest place in general esteem.
Which would you say are the better orators, speaking generally, the American people or the English people?
I think Americans are, on the average, better talkers than the English. I think England has produced the greatest literature of the world, but I do not think England has produced the greatest orators of the world. I know of
Sample complete. Ready to continue?